Sorry, messing with your mic. Shouldn't mess with another man's mic. There you go.
Someone's going to meme that, aren't they? They're just going to crop the mic out.
Feed him the mic.
Is that? Yeah.
We're going. We are going.
Also, do you know what? I'm hugely aware of the optics here. Can you just confirm for everyone watching that you haven't been forced or coerced into this room to drink alcohol or hereby consent? That's not me mansplaining. That is...
And you are of age.
Starts doing hand signals.
Yeah. So I'm of age.
I don't know if that makes it worse.
That makes it so much weirder.
Don't say that,
So much
Eddie.
weirder.
Weird thing to say.
Oh, fucking hell.
Very
Been
weird thing
taken
to
off
say.
YouTube.
20. That's all I am.
Very weird thing to say, Eddie.
It's just going to be an attack on me.
No,
Is
it's
it?
not. It's definitely not. It's not an attack. I was very aware of the optics all of a sudden. It's like 4 men and then you.
What was that?
But it's fine.
That's my... sorry.
I'm glad you saved
Let
it.
off some steam.
I'm glad you saved it to the moment we started recording though, to open that though. Thanks for that.
It's all right. All good. Now I've got to pour it. So.
Yeah, we're just waiting for you to do that. Today's Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, I find it quite interesting. Dan and I always speak about it from a coaching perspective and things that are service led. You do services. Is that something you would discount on a Black Friday sale?
My services. I'm too busy. I'm a little bit too busy to like offer a discount at the moment. Maybe.
That's not me to change your mind. I just think it's interesting.
No, yeah. I suppose it's that thing like making people feel that they've got the bargain that they want. But what I don't like is things like bulk that are on sale all year round. And then if they do a big Black Friday thing, it's 70% off, and it's only off certain bits. And then it's like 70% off an increased price, which is actually their normal price. Anyway, so it just makes no sense.
Which did that survey recently? I think they did like 1 in 7 deals is actually a Black Friday discount.
Yeah.
But typically it's end of the line product stuff that they're trying to get rid of. Because I always think it's
shit, isn't it?
Hyped up.
or unless you need something specifically, because like if your service is like hopefully you deliver a level of service that doesn't need discounting. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's my thoughts.
I think I'd offer it, but I wouldn't buy anything. I don't really go off Black Friday just because I know how hyped up it is. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's why they rely on that, don't they? They rely on people impulse buying.
Yeah, which there are people that do. So you might as well, if it means discounting your stuff or making a fake discount for people to then go, oh, it's discounted, and then buy it. Fine. Like, I probably
People in
wouldn't buy
a
anything.
buying mood, so because of everything that happens with it, people are primed to buy. So it does make sense. I get why people would do it, but I think from a service point of view, when you're working with clients and they're paying you money already, if you then suddenly discount what that service is, how does it make them feel?
Yeah.
I saw a really good thing today actually. It's someone I work with, and they said we never do discounts, Black Fridays, never do it. But what we've done every year is anyone who signs up to any of our services from now till, I think it was, they put a time limit on it, they donated 20% of all revenue to a charity, which was, thought, a different way of doing it. So yeah, I quite like that.
I mean, it's not quite altruistic, but like it's
Well,
a little bit self-serving in there, but yeah.
But it kind of broke up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you. My emails today, I don't know what you do with your emails, whether you're one of them weird people who just lets them build up and up and up, and you've got these thousands of, like a red number with 1,000 thing on it. But I'm just swiping and deleting emails today. And every time I open my phone, I'm like, oh, another 10 to delete. But
as you say though, people are primed to impulse buy, aren't they? Which is why even Amazon, I went on Amazon today because there was something I specifically was looking for, a new pair of headphones, and they were discounted slightly, so I got those. But there was loads of stuff that I'd bought in the past. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, because I bought
I
3
thought
pairs
you
of
looked at me 'cause
headphones
you heard my
yesterday.
gurgle.
3 pairs of headphones, did
I
you?
bought 3 pairs of headphones yesterday.
What headphones did you buy?
They were like some Sennheiser. There was some that were like 70% off. I was like,
No brainer.
yeah. Well, if I had researched it, then maybe it would have been a brainer. But I think
Ignorance is bliss, right?
yeah.
Don't know.
It looked like a big old discount, and they did what I want. So it's actually for in here, so you can plug in the Bluetooth transmitter and then be on the pod and also listen to it.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, some people do.
Yeah. And it's World Cup today as well. England are playing.
USA.
You're USA. Dan's got his Stone Island on.
Get
so
a
he can
badge in. Always get a badge in.
Have a fight after.
It's really I'm not interested in football whatsoever. I genuinely like these like whatever you call them, trousers, cargos, yeah, and they are the best cargo like trousers I've ever bought.
Are they to do with football?
Well, they got this badge on, which just gets a badge.
They got links to football hooliganism.
Football hooliganism.
Basically,
Stone Island.
Dan should be wearing Hugo Boss, who made the Nazis.
I just
uniform.
associate Stone
Exactly the
Island
same.
with stoners.
Really?
Yeah, no, chavs.
Yeah,
I'm
So you're not wrong.
It's all right.
You're not wrong. Because
No.
it's really easy to fake. What they do is they just
Yeah, exactly, and they just put it off.
Yeah.
Because you can always tell a
People
fake
do
one.
it in
Like,
shops as well.
Stone Island don't make woolly hats. Yeah. What they do, they don't. Like you definitely just stitch the badge onto that.
Yeah.
To be fair,
That's
I
what
do
I
know
mean.
someone that collects Stone Island jackets, and he's like, as a proper collector, doesn't wear
Probably
them,
worth
just
a lot.
buys it. They're worth a fortune.
But isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's them that's responsible for the coyotes. Is it that one?
Coyotes.
Yeah. What's the brand?
Oh,
What is that?
I know who you're thinking. Goose, Canada Goose.
Canada Goose.
That's
That's
it,
it.
yeah.
That's the worst one.
People
I
obviously
don't
get.
have any respect for
Well,
anyone who
that's
buys
where
Canada
real
Goose.
fur, isn't it? People
Yeah.
tear those off others in supermarkets and stuff.
Yeah, no
People
respect
get-
for anyone.
What
who
the big
buys Canada Goose.
jackets? The big like.
Yeah.
The fluff on the hood is just
It's
gripped
real
up
fur.
coyotes.
Yeah.
And filled with goose feathers.
So we,
They're warm though, aren't they? They're really
Don't
nice.
forget the goose.
really
Geese.
nice.
Really
Don't
warm.
forget the geese.
Filled with
Yeah.
goose.
Yeah.
Really,
there's fake fur that will just keep you warm too. So
Yeah.
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 But, speaking of badges, because of course, like England made a big fuss about wearing the LGBTQ plus badge, didn't they, in terms of representation and everything that Qatar don't stand for, and then they backed out.
Ah.
pussies.
Yeah. What happened there then? What do you think?
Oh, they got the
Theories.
threat was yellow card from.
Or a fine, wasn't it?
Well, they don't
Something
just do
like
the
that. I
whole
mean,
team.
what's
Like,
the
as soon as they step
I
on
What is
the
a
know,
fine
but,
to
yeah.
Harry Kane?
Yeah.
Like, what is a fine?
And also,
What are you
like,
gonna
I always
do?
think, like,
30k?
if you're doing something in terms of activism, the whole point is that normally you don't announce it. And then if you announce it and there's threat of repercussions, you do it anyway because you
Yeah.
believe in the cause.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got Alex Scott, who's the first female football pundit in the BBC over the last 4 years. She's wearing hers on TV, and the whole team have lost their bottle and not worn theirs.
Yeah.
There is probably stuff goes on behind that, but the way someone I saw positioned it, and I agree with this, is on the pitch when someone's playing, or when a footballer's playing, they'll go out of their way to get booked. Like they will fall on the floor,
Yeah.
dive, everything, and then when someone
Yeah.
says, "Oh, would you want to? You don't wear this. Don't wear that armband." Oh no, we can't do that.
That was John Richardson, wasn't it, the comedian?
Was it someone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Makes
Was it
sense.
Neymar got fouled 9 times last night? Or something
really?
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And now he's got a broken ankle or whatever and he doesn't know if he can play again.
yeah.
But if you're happy to get fouled that many times, or
It's just, it was.
do you know what I mean? Why are you not wearing a badge?
It's just
Or-
virtue signalling for the sake of virtue signalling, but then they didn't actually follow through with their virtue signalling. But then you had like countries like Iran, they didn't sing their national anthem out of solidarity for the women of Iran who have been murdered in the streets for not wearing their hijabs.
Oh, yeah.
And the repercussions for them is actual torture, imprisonment, and death, like real repercussions in comparison to, got a yellow card, mate, and a bit
Yeah,
of a
and
fine.
Iran, they haven't sung their national anthem, have they? Like,
I think
to show that
I
they're
think
not
they did
supporting anything
against
they're doing.
Wales. I can't remember was that yesterday or today, but again, in all fairness to them, there's threat of their lives and their families' lives. That there's real repercussions, not
Mm.
bloody
They did win though, didn't they?
yellow
They
card.
beat Argentina.
Yeah, that was
Was
a big,
that
a big
Iran or was
upset.
that? No, that's Saudi Arabia. Sorry.
I don't worry. I'm agreeing with you because I'm going to show you how ignorant I am when it comes to football.
No.
I don't
It's just
watch
like the
football.
politics around the football.
I didn't know it was on tonight. I didn't.
The politics around
but
it.
that's
just
how I
find
wanna
that-
be.
That more
I don't care
fascinating
for it.
than the actual.
I know now, obviously. I've gotten on to it being on now.
But we're going to
Did
win
you know
it.
the World Cup
apparently.
has started?
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you know the World Cup had started?
Oh, yeah.
I have got a picture of our friend Dave
Yeah.
from his stag do.
The Gimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because he looks like a really, and this is what I said to him not so long ago, he looks like a really sinister Zippy out of Zippy and Bungle.
Oh.
So I've put him on Canva on the rainbow thing. You're
Oh,
too young
nice.
to know that. You don't know what rainbow is, do you?
I know what a rainbow is.
You know
but
what
not
A Rainbow, the TV show Rainbow.
No.
Zippy and Bungle.
Zippy and Bunk. What was the other one?
George.
George.
But I should.
God, have we gone from activism to Sinister Gimps and Zippy and Bungle?
Oh, Bungle.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember the one they did that was like not for kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, is that the one with the real gimp?
No,
I
no,
haven't seen that.
Rainbow. Yeah, where
It's
it was-
Zippy and a woman talking, and he's doing a lot of innuendos.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you'd like this, wouldn't you?
It did come about in the 80s, so that was probably the real one.
yeah.
It's one of the,
It
one of the
might have
best,
been the real
best
one.
things. I'll have to show it to you. It's funny. Yeah.
Have you seen Pingu? Like the
Yeah. It's similar
yeah,
to
we
that.
shouldn't have seen
Yeah.
Pingu at all.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been watching Pingu. That's quite funny.
Well, there's loads of those now, which is like, you know, you look at song lyrics, you look at stuff that was on. I watched Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah.
I love that film, but that could never be made now. Never.
Yeah, like a bit like Come Fly With Me.
I never
could
saw
not be
that.
made.
But
Or
if
Little
you-
Britain,
even
any of those,
Little
yeah.
Britain.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't he? David Williams is in trouble for something else at the moment.
Yeah,
Something he
they've
apparently
been made
said.
to. I don't think they should have been made to apologise. They like, it is very funny, but but yeah, no, I do understand. I think it's the coffee shop owner that really tickles me on the airport one. That she's always trying
for
to
the
get
sake
out
of please, for the sake of this has been on 10 minutes. Don't do any impressions.
No, right, okay. Yeah.
Oh dear.
We was talking,
That was exactly where I was going to go
yeah.
next.
Don't. We were talking about Lady and the Tramp just before we started recording, and then Dan fell in. No, don't do any impressions of that either. Jeez.
That's my childhood though. That's
Lady
what I
and
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat's in it, but that's like
Oh,
I won't do it. But that's like I was brought up to that. So at the time you're like, oh, this is brilliant. I love it. And now you think about it, if that went out there, people would be like, no.
Yeah. I think there's a fine line, and I think
it's the reverse now.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think
Isn't
of
it?
Black No, not
Black Ariel. you
Black
say.
Ariel.
Right.
Yeah.
Still got red hair.
I love it.
I mean, no, but like
Like
what's-
just seeing all the kids' reactions, that made it for me. I
The
don't
big-
really have an opinion
the
on it.
biggest
Like,
gripe
make her
that people
black, I
have
don't care.
is that Ariel might be black, never mind the fact she's a bloody mermaid.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who you're talking about. I genuinely wonder who you're talking about. Then. I was
Yeah.
like,
The question
who's
is,
Ariel?
I think people
Oh, the
get-
mermaid. Yeah. Okay.
Because that works on the other side, doesn't it? That works on the far right. Like the far right gets super outraged about things that don't even matter.
Yeah.
That's
doesn't
so
matter
funny
at
actually.
all.
You know, you say it like
Talking
just being
crab,
outraged, you're
talking
going,
crab, talking fish,
mermaids are
mermaid.
not black.
Yeah, and exactly the same with the people. Did you watch the latest Power of the Rings? The Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
incarnation?
Oh, it's just,
Oh.
people think I'm weird because I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings, any of Star Wars. I'm like, no.
Oh, I've seen one Star Wars, but I got forced into it.
No, I'm not going to get into a debate slagging off Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, all right? That's not what I've come here to do.
Sorry, audience.
I'm getting out whenever I can. I need to tell people.
Yeah.
But no, I think it works on the flip reverse as well. But equally, with things like comedy, I think comedy does get a pass for some of those things because they're not saying things to be hurtful. And I think there's a lot to be said for intent behind those messages. So if you're going out of your way to say something racist, you are a racist, and by definition, there should be consequences for that because that's not acceptable. But then, if you know, as it has done times gone by, they teeter that line of almost cognitive dissonance where people say things that sparks up such a reaction in you. You almost your reaction betrays your body. Like you know you shouldn't laugh at that,
Yeah.
but something about it tickles you.
Well,
And
it's-
I think for the reason that reason, comedy should get a little bit of a pass because they say stuff just to be funny. They're not saying stuff to be hurtful.
Prime example is Dave Chappelle, isn't it? Where because he got annoyed at everyone saying one of his punchlines, which was like just basically saying the N word, like because he was saying it so much, and he had that
We're not
family.
going to go
that-
down a dark path now. How you
No,
want
no,
to justify
but-
everyone can say the N word, right?
No, but basically he was just he was just sick of people like just then taking it and going, well, you said it, so
Yeah.
so he dialed back, and then he had all those issues with the network and stuff. So
If you know it's wrong, just don't do it. Like, if it's going to be kind of funny,
yeah,
I don't know, it's a really fine lines with it, how much you care, I guess. That guy just doesn't care.
The difficulty is like there's always going to be something that triggers someone in a different way compared to other people, especially if something they're joking about has deeply affected you.
Yeah.
Then whether it's a joke or
But then
not,
just don't watch it.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. Or people that take those jokes out of context. So or don't even aren't aware of the context of the jokes. They don't know the entire joke. They know that 10 seconds from it, and they've decided that person's transphobic, they're homophobic, or whatever that may be.
Who's Ricky Gervais, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was
Recently,
literally
who
about
said
to say
about
the
billboard.
with the advert. Yeah. And then
Guitar lessons.
guitar lessons.
Have you seen his new one? Super. What's it called?
Is it Superhuman?
No, not Superhuman.
Supernatural.
Supernature, I think.
Yeah.
Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
I think so.
I went and saw that.
Oh, you saw it live?
Yeah, I went and saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like so underwhelmed.
Oh, really?
It was shit. If I'm honest, it was awful.
That's
And
quite
like
interesting.
I saw the support act. He had me belly laughing. Like
Oh, really?
he was amazing. He was so funny. I can't remember his name. I think he was Irish, but yeah.
That is the thing about humour, though. That's quite
Yeah.
different for people. I think.
He just got so boring. He just kept
really?
saying the same thing. The whole thing is about how he offends people, but you shouldn't be offended.
Yeah.
I get it. That's something of your humour. But he made a whole show of it, and it was like, it's just not funny. I get it.
She won't go back to seeing it.
No. Like, I watched the one beforehand. I can't remember. That one's it's on. I think that was hilarious. I think that's so
Yeah.
funny. And that's why I wanted to go and
I
see
get
it.
that because I think
Peter
that,
Kay. Like, I'm not a big
No.
Peter Kay fan. I don't find Peter Kay funny at all. I don't find like Mrs. Brown's Boys. People go
You
crazy.
either
that's
love
awful.
it or hate it.
For that shit.
Yeah,
I
I,
just-
don't know. I
don't
can't
get
get
it.
it. I can't get it.
Every
What
Christmas
is
it's
it?
on
I
every
like it
single
for the
day. I'm like,
silliness. So I've
I
just
don't know
watched
what
it.
it is.
No.
Peter
Oh,
Kay,
really?
everything he sounds, and this is not all northern people, but most of the things he says are funny because
He's northern, yeah.
yeah, not because it's that funny.
Yeah.
Do you watch the car share one?
yeah, what's that?
I quite like
The
that because
coffee.
he's just acting normal and a little bit like
Yeah.
affronted by stuff that the other
I
girl
did
does.
watch it.
So that's I like that.
I said because my wife was like, "Oh, Peter Kay's going on tour, isn't he, or something? And he's not doing any dates down here, not doing any dates down south. They're all up north."
Oh, okay.
So everyone's getting really offended by it. Or what do you do? And I was like, I couldn't care less because I don't find it. She's like, well, you watched the car share program. I was like, yeah, I didn't think that was that good. Right? She was like,
It's
what?
different. Watching it on TV is different to going out of your way and
Yeah.
travelling to the O2 and going to see it. But yeah, it's one thing I do think is admirable that he did is that he didn't increase his ticket price, did he?
Yeah, no, he
Because
kept
based
it
on
the
the cost
same.
of living, he kept them. Whatever I can't remember however long his last show was ago.
Like 7 years ago or
something like
something,
that.
yeah.
He's kept them at the same price. I thought that was quite a nice thing to do.
Okay.
So he obviously doesn't care about
Not Harry
well,
Styles, it.
No, not
Well,
Harry Styles. It. Harry Styles is happy
after
for you to
that
get a
long
mortgage,
off-
isn't he? I don't know what his tickets are.
Ridiculous.
Are they?
They're crazy. Yeah.
I looked at
Standing
going,
tickets like 150, 200.
I looked at Joe
I've heard they're
Rogan and I read like Tom Segura as well.
Oh yeah. We were
And-
saying, is that one of the bears?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 250 to 300 quid a ticket next year. Tom
Oh, wow.
Segura's
That's a
tickets are.
lot.
That's
For
a
like-
lot for a comedy gig.
Mm. And you don't know if he's any good, or is he quite well known stand up, or because I know that his podcast obviously, but
I think he is, but then there's that.
he's not the one that went to Russia and then was like
No,
adopted.
that's Bert Kreischer.
Right. So I saw his stand up first, and then I saw the Bears podcast, and then so like in my head he was proven to be stand up, although I know a lot of the stand ups do podcasts and stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when you see them doing their role first, then you're like, right, it's stand up, and then like, oh, he's got a podcast. He's quite funny.
I do think that some of them though are actually funnier on podcasts than they are live. Like Bert Kreischer, I think he's hilarious on a podcast. I just don't think his stand-up's that funny. Same with Theo Von. I really like Theo Von on the podcast. But I don't.
He's very funny on podcasts. Like, do you see the one where he turns up and he's eating loads of mushrooms and he can't do his like stand up set and he's just wandering around. He's wandering around saying, "I'm not going to do my regular set because I can't remember it."
Speaking of mushrooms, that fascinates me, and I've kind of convinced myself from looking at the studies because there is quite a lot of evidence into terms of things like depression, managing mood, creative microdosing, and things like that.
Yeah.
I think like it's a bit dubious when it comes to the microdosing stuff and being creative. But I've convinced myself I want to go on a retreat and try this.
Mushroom retreat.
Yeah.
Do it.
Like ayahuasca,
Like
that thing, or
I think ayahuasca is something different. Actual psilocybin though.
Right.
And I mean that genuinely. So part of that I'm saying in jest, but if you look into the studies, it's like well documented, well supported. I think if I had,
I'd love to see what the retreats would be like like a dark room.
I think they're like, from what I've seen, they're almost like yoga retreats.
well,
aren't they?
they'll be well.
The Netflix program. At the
It's
moment,
not like put you in the dark, feed
Oh
you
my
shit like a
god,
mushroom.
yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, no, I don't know which.
The,
There's one,
the Netflix, there's one about shrooms.
with the studies and stuff in it.
Yeah, but there's 70s one.
Oh
Oh my god, it's
Yeah, but
insane.
is that the one where they just mega dose them with LSD?
No, that's another one. That's like, that's just stupid.
no,
That's where the
no.
guy like drove on mushrooms and it's just an idiot for doing that. But like, there's another one where they talk about the studies and about the 70s when it first came about and then it got banned everywhere.
yeah.
Oh my god, I cannot remember what it's called.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up.
because I think it's a recent one, right?
Yeah.
And but they've done the recent study that was been the one you're on about. It's plastered all over the Daily Mail. Get hold of it.
There's quite a few, isn't there? There's not just one singularly.
No, but one recent one has been the biggest one that's shown this improvement with PTSD and depression and things. But it's still not enough. There's not enough to. And when they do those studies now, they do it in Imperial College London, and you're in a room and it's really like you're on a bed. Got music and there's just really nice lighting and
It's like delivered in company.
yeah,
with
and there's
therapy,
two
isn't it?
people with you. The one's like there, and some of them have the best time. They're proper like when they come out of it, they are transformed and they've had this amazing experience. And one guy he was vividly like something was going on, trauma deep inside him was coming out, and he didn't get anything from it, but he had to go through that pain of like trying to get this trauma out. And it was when you watched it, I was like,
But then I think that's his fault because you don't go into an experiment like that
Yeah.
if you're not in the right head shape.
But
Like,
he was looking
do
for the
it.
answer so bad that he wasn't able to let go of that pain, which is what they did it for. And he was like, "Oh, it's not working." You know, they're like, "Well, you need to like lean into this a bit more." He's like, "It's really hard." I'm like, "Yeah, of course it is. Like, you got some really dark stuff going on."
I think you've got to sort that out sober though. You have to sort that out and then do shrooms because then it's a positive experience. You can't do shrooms when there's so much shit in your head.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's
sort it
interesting.
out. It just
But it's what's they're using these now, psilocybin especially, to be able to open up those memories and those past experiences. That's how they're getting into it. This goes on YouTube, doesn't it? So I've been microdosing for a few months now.
I don't
like
think
3
we're
or
not
4 months.
allowed to mention drug use on
Are you
YouTube,
not?
are we?
It's not drug use, is it?
Okay. It's not drug
that's
use.
so weird. You cut that out.
But yeah, I from my brother's got me into bought stuff across from Mexico, and the psilocybin capsules, and I mean you're not on mushrooms, you don't feel like you're tripping, but there's this. I wanted to experiment with it to see because I was quite into nootropics before, and I've tried out endless amounts of things like that because I'm fascinated by it, but nothing really happens. And I'm saying the studies that have come out there are not really showing anything from day-to-day use, but it's the same thing that's going to happen that it does in the fitness space now with supplements. Everyone will jump on something and go, "Oh, this is amazing, it will solve this." It doesn't. It literally, I couldn't tell you the difference, but there may be a placebo effect there, but it's not anything that I would go raving about. So
But I think possibly that's the distinction there, isn't it? It's that's microdosing in terms of things like creativity, but then when you're talking about the therapeutic route, which is treating PTSD, treating chronic depression and things like that. But one of the things on Instagram that bothers me, Insta therapy, is that whole leaning into your pain, which if someone's on that journey, they have to do that with someone that's appropriately qualified, because sometimes leaning into that pain on your own is bloody painful.
Yeah.
And not always advisable, I don't think. But,
Not someone running around you going, "Nightmare, nightmare."
But that's why they had the two on those experiments. They had the two people and holding this bloke's hand, and he was just having some kind of nightmare, and it was I felt quite sorry for him in the end, really, because he's looking for that help and he's just not getting it. So there's more work, but I do think if you get into it early, CBD was massive. That was a big thing, and I feel mushrooms are the next thing. They're the next thing that's going to come. They're already big. There's other types of mushroom strains, lion's mane and things like that.
Yeah, I do that. And
Coffee as well.
ashwagandha. Ashwagandha and what's Tomcat leaf?
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
What are you taking?
Taking the
You're
short
taking
form.
something
Short
else.
form version.
Yeah.
There's all random ones as well. I go on this supplement site, and they're all natural things, and there's testosterone boosters, but they can't claim to be testosterone boosters. They're just be like, it could help you.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
it's the best
Who
product to
knows?
sell. Like,
Try
because you're
it.
like, we can't say it does anything. And you're like, does it do anything? And you're like, we can't say. And you buy it, and it doesn't do anything. You're like, we didn't say it did.
Well, the only thing that boosts testosterone is the
Testosterone.
things. Yeah, basically, in a nutshell. That's the interesting thing is like when they say testosterone boost, it's like they're suggesting you boost it above your natural physiological range, whereas everyone has their natural range, and that is just your natural range. Some people are naturally low, some people are naturally high. You can improve those things through exercise and diet, but not above like your natural threshold unless you're taking testosterone.
You know, Usain Bolt. So he worked with. This is why I'm going to get sued for this, but he's like chemist guy or whatever you want to call him, pharmaceutical guy. He works with someone in a team, right? Because you've got that range to work between. Their legal range, there was like I can't remember what it is, point like 3 to 11 or whatever, is your testosterone range. So he worked with someone to build his testosterone range to the peak. So you could still like compete at that level and not get banned. So. And that's why, because this guy said that the 100 metres final in the last Olympics that he was in, where he won it, all of them men in the final went under 10 seconds. And he said that's unheard of. The only way you do that is if you were changing something.
There's got to be a reason why people are getting stronger and faster, or whether you can prove it or not. But then the other interesting question is, do you want people to get slower? Or
I want to see the fastest, the biggest,
exactly,
longest
that's
jumper.
what people want to see. I do. People want to see the freaks.
Yeah.
I want to see monstrous bodybuilders. That's what people want. They don't. I think at that level as well, no one's really cares about the health implications, unfortunately. But it's just being the best in that sport, isn't it?
Can you imagine an Olympics where it was just untested? It'd be
Yeah, people say that is like, let's have one that just anything's allowed,
Anything
and then
goes.
see what people can do. Don't count it. Don't put it in Guinness Book of World Records. But like, just be like, this is the untested year. Like, put a little asterisk next
I
to
guess
it.
like bodybuilding and powerlifting federations kind of do, because they have tested federations, and then it's not the others are untested. It's just like, we don't test.
There's a huge difference between the natural
Powerlifting, but we don't test.
natural tested people, though, isn't there?
I love
like,
it,
like the size of.
I don't think it's that. You're talking percentages, aren't you? Really, not like suddenly throwing the javelin out of the stadium and landing somewhere else. It's just not going to happen. But there's percentages, and that's what the fine line is. That's why they do it at that level, because it gives them that extra edge. But yeah,
I suppose if they said all of a sudden, like, you can do what you want, there wouldn't just be like some monstrous people that
Like
would
freaks.
appear and be the best, like, of everything. They'd be like, you're the biggest, so obviously, like, you've just taken over
You'd
from
have
the
to
shop.
test it
You got no technique, but you
one
can
year, and then the non-tested the next year. But like, hang on, you this
Yeah.
new federation's come out, and you've been competing for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Where have you come from? You're only marginally improved.
Yeah.
when I when I was younger, I used to swim a lot, and they brought out these Speedo used to throw loads of money into technology for suits and things. So they brought out the full body suit. I remember trying to get into one of these, and you had to get into it through the neck. That was the only way in. You had to squeeze this thing on there because it was seamless. There was no seams on it, anything really. And then they did I think it was the Olympics or the
dolphin.
Europeans. Everyone was smashing records, and they went, "No, you got to ban these suits," because it was like ruining the record books. So then they banned them, and everyone got slower again. It was really weird. Yeah.
That is what they would probably happen with as well.
I suppose at that level, that's where people shave every part of the
Yeah.
body to be more streamlined.
There's that part of that does work. Part of it
Just do that
is
anyway.
it makes you feel different in the water. I remember the first time I ever shaved everything to swim in an event, and I dived in like it was like I can only describe it like
He went in and ooh.
no, it was like getting into a silk bed, like silk.
Yes, it just feels really nice.
Like being totally honest, because I know you've competed as well. The first time I had everything waxed, first time it's like it attacks your masculinity a little bit. You're like, oh, this is horrible.
It's nice.
During or afterwards.
No, like when you first have it done.
Oh,
No, and then afterwards you're like, actually,
Nice, man.
this is quite
oh my
nice.
god. Where did you go to get waxed? Like,
Oh, to a normal waxing place.
Oh, you did it?
that is
Okay.
like one of my biggest fears. I could
I've
not.
been waxed head to toe, more or less. not head to
Oh my
toe.
god, that was
head-
literally a
sorry.
nightmare.
But what I should probably add is showing too much. I'm not that hairy, but what I mean is like my legs waxed was something obviously I'd never experienced before I competed,
Yeah.
and then it's
Was that for a show though? Like, as in, yeah.
Oh no,
okay.
just for fun.
Just for the weekend.
The school bazaar.
Just for another podcast idea.
No, but it's it's bizarre.
Would you, if it was proven to be an advantage, would you
Sold.
would you wax for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I like where you went there. Yeah.
If it was a technical advantage,
Yeah.
just to be more slippery.
It's not a pleasant experience, but it's not. I don't think. I'm the bloke in the room and I'm dominating the conversation about waxing here. I mean, it's not something I would.
I get
be
anxious just going to my eyebrow lady, so like I just couldn't do that. Yeah, I would rather no.
Which one would you
The
like?
clear one.
Clear one.
That goes with this, right? Yeah.
Goes quite nicely with that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the tequila. I was like, what?
Glad you two staved that for that ultra sensitive sound quality of the microphone.
ASMR.
Just the way.
Okay.
Does
Yeah,
feel
so-
a bit weird, like not being able to drink properly. I feel can't do it really.
Yeah, so the Blanco is, and I sound like a sociopath getting into tequila, but what I've come to realise is people have just never had good tequila. And Mexicans,
They're people too.
Portuguese.
they laugh at us for drinking that stuff with a sombrero. What's that? What's the brand?
Oh
of that?
god, it's awful.
Yeah.
That tequila's horrid.
But that
The
is,
one with the sombrero hat on top.
yes, that is my rule. Like tequila, if you're drinking tequila, if it wears a sombrero, don't trust it.
Yeah.
And that is always the stuff that
Yeah, I
people
can
drink
picture
at the end of the night,
Julio.
and they just throw it back, and then they blame their hideous hangover on that shot rather than the 20 drinks I've had before it. Tequila is a bad rep, in my opinion. Whereas the Respirado stuff is aged in a barrel, like whiskey. I like bourbon.
When it was lockdown, I tried the big bottle of that, the 42, 1942.
Well, the £2 a bottle one.
Well, no, they were not quite that expensive. It was you couldn't get it anywhere.
Oh, really?
No, nowhere.
Because that
That's 'cause
bottle
everyone's
looks like a
drinking
Patron
and
bottle,
crying.
right?
Pardon?
Similar to a Patron bottle. Patron.
That is, yeah. I've got Patron at home. I just didn't want to bring too many.
Yeah,
This-
they're not doing coffee Patron anymore.
Yeah, it stopped it.
Apparently not. Yeah, but I'm sure there's bottles still floating around.
But they'll be
Limited edition.
expensive, won't they?
Yeah, get hold of them.
Get an eBay.
Like the old Jack 3D formula. Do you remember that?
I never had that.
That was going
That's
Pre-workout.
pre-
Yeah, pre-workout. When they
I've never
got rid of
tried
the
it.
old formula, because
Yeah.
it had
It
DMMA
did-
in it,
yeah,
which
but
was
it
an
actually caused
amphetamine.
deaths, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it was an amphet in it, and they were just selling it. And then they banned it, and it was going on eBay for like £200-300 a
That's
top.
crazy.
People don't give a shit about their health when it comes to feeding jacked.
I tell you what, I had the best session ever. The best session. It was like tunnel vision blinkers, and I couldn't work out. I was sweating so much. I was like, this is freaking amazing. But then, there's the DMMA in the thing, and then people were dying, so it's not good.
Yeah, but that's like original Coca-Cola had cocaine in it as well.
I used to see this light at the end of the tunnel.
Best training
Made me
session
really
ever.
focused.
Do you throw weights around, Eddie?
Do I throw weights around?
Yeah,
Only
occasionally.
when I'm angry.
I don't even know.
No. Wish I could.
You did for a bit.
I did, but
Oh, shit.
I hate the gym. Just too nervous. Hate it.
Do you find it an intimidating place?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Is it men or other women and men?
No, men.
Just men. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Like,
I'd never.
and like nothing. Well, yeah, actually,
I think that's fair, by the way. I'm not challenging
Yeah,
that. I just
I don't know.
wondered.
Like upstairs, I used to run inside Pure Gym. I went for like a year, and still had never like gone downstairs, just because that's like the mostly men
area.
dominated bit. So I'd go upstairs on like the bikes and what else would I do? Like
Cross
a
trainer.
few legs thing. No, I didn't like the cross trainer. I feel weird on it.
It's weird. It's a weird
Yeah, I
one.
don't like it. But there's a few leg things I'll do. Like I loved it once I got into it, but it took me so long to go downstairs. I had to get one of the personal trainers to come and help me.
Oh, that
She
makes
was
me
like-
feel a bit sad.
She took me downstairs and then she was like, right, this is it. And I walked in and I was like, holy shit, this is so scary. And then it was all right, it was fun. And then, I ended up lifting like quite a bit, like more than my body weight. And she was like, you can do it. And then I never went back.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
So do you
scary.
feel like intimidated more from other people have made you feel intimidated, or you just feel that intimidation?
I don't know, it's just a me issue, really. Like, I know no one's looking at me. I know no one gives a shit.
But I don't think you're the only person that experienced that. I think a lot of people do.
It's horrible.
I think even my first gym experience, which was a classic bodybuild. I mean, you used to walk into the gym and they had vials of a fridge full of stuff when you walked in, and there was what they called then was called the bodybuilding section or the ladies section upstairs.
Yeah.
And I used to train in the ladies section because that's where all the machines were.
Yeah.
Because it was just too intimidating downstairs because everyone was a hardcore trainer.
Where was that?
It was Progress House in Hadley. Do you remember that? It's since become a block of flats. Right. But when I was 16, the first gym I went to was that one.
Because I thought you were talking about the academy, but then they didn't have an upstairs.
No, I've only been there a handful of times, but my first gym I went to was Progress House in Hadley. And that was quite a reputable bodybuilders gym. And when you went in, they said, do you want to go in the bodybuilding area or do you want to go in the ladies section? So there's almost like a little bit of shame attached to it. But upstairs there was no one because there wasn't actually that many ladies training. But that was a way of escaping all the grunts and groans. Again, not because anyone else, they said, for whatever reason I didn't belong there. I just felt like I didn't belong there.
You just know, like, somebody's gonna see you. So I hate that. And then, I used to do the classes. So like legs, bums and tums and then spin and all that. And then I did legs, bums and tums. One time, I had a guy trainer, and you know this because I came in the next day to work just mortified. One time I had a guy trainer. I did this whole class is like 45 minutes long, and got to the end where I got up a bit earlier, I think, so I needed to leave earlier. So I got up and this woman came over and she was like, hang on, like, you've your leggings. And I was like, what do you mean? And I felt, and like my whole leggings had split open and I had no idea. And I've done this whole class with my leggings ripped open. Oh, it's so embarrassing. And then, this guy said nothing. And I knew he was new. He's new to the gym. And I was like, oh my God, like, what am I meant to do? And I came back the next day to do my legs, mums and tums. And I was like, I'm not going to let it, like, destroy my confidence. I was like, I'm just going to go back. And then I went to my lady, like, really got on with her. And I was like, oh, did you hear about what happened yesterday when we explained it? I just had to laugh it off, otherwise I'd be like really embarrassed. And she was like, oh yeah. we heard him talking about it in the staff room. And I was like, I was like, you joking? I was like, that is so embarrassing.
Huge respect for you though for going straight back in.
Oh God, so embarrassing. But then I had to I was like, thank you for telling me. Like, obviously everyone's just known this whole time. We had mirrors the whole way around the room. So yeah, and then I had to. Luckily, I brought a jumper, so I just wrapped myself up and like sprinted. I was like, bye. So awkward, but who knows?
So was that your last gym experience then?
No, I kept going back.
Oh, good for you.
But then I quit because summer. I just don't like going to the gym in summer. I think it's wasted time.
Right, I need to know the reason why.
Because there's daylight. I'm not going to waste my time in the gym.
Okay, that's fair enough. As in you exercise
Because I'd rather exercise outside.
Fair enough.
But once it gets to the winter, I'm scared of the dark. So I don't want to like walk about in the dark. I'd rather go to the gym. Do you know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah.
Is it JD that has a women's only area?
I don't know. I haven't been to it.
I think they do.
I take...
But you still have to walk through the men's bit, which is the worst bit for me. I used to wait, because I used to go to Pure Gym in Rayleigh, like Rayleigh Weir one. Yeah. I used to wait till 3 a.m. to walk inside until there was like one person in there because you could see on the app. I used to have finished work at midnight because I worked at McDonald's. And then, drive to the gym, which is 10 minutes down the road, and just wait.
Is it right next to it?
No, it's like 10 minutes.
Oh, from Hadley.
It's at Hadley McDonald's. Yeah. So drive down, I'll wait till like 3 a.m. is when it got like really quiet, and then I'd go in.
Yeah. So I take for granted actually, like, because a lot of the facilities I've worked in over the last 10 plus years have been private facilities, so we don't tend to get too much of that. Like we don't get too many lechy guys. We get the odd ab check, but it's not to the extent that hopefully anyone would feel intimidated.
What's an ab check? Is that just guys posing in the mirror?
Still there.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Really?
That's a thing.
There's a name for that.
Yeah, ab
I
check.
see it on
Ab check.
TikTok.
Quick
Oh,
ab check.
Yeah,
okay,
we don't experience ILS in our private facilities. Well, I haven't.
What's ILS?
Imaginary lat syndrome.
Oh, right.
You're holding
I
two
do think
carpets.
though that like the pure gym thing is that they're probably worse than some of the private independent gyms now. Like especially around our way,
Yeah.
I go to a commercial gym similar to Pure, and then they've got a ladies only area which is right in the corner, like tucked away. And then I go to an independent gym, which is the friendliest gym I've ever known, and it's so quiet. There's like, and everyone in there, yes, they're all serious, and it's a bodybuilding gym. It's always had that feel to it, but it's the best gym I've ever been to. So I think there's that. But yeah, some of the pure gyms, because they can get really
There's
busy.
no vetting process either.
They get
is there?
so busy.
You don't
Yeah.
need to meet someone to
I think part
actually
of it's a staffing
join.
issue as well,
Just
because like
turn
the
up.
staff, I think culturally
They
set the
treat their
environment.
staff really badly.
Yeah.
But as a member of staff in a gym, is if you're there all the time, like if you're working split shifts, you're there in the morning and evening, you kind of set a bit of an etiquette yourself. So other people will see you putting bits of equipment away, other people will see you being friendly to everyone, other people will see you training and how you kind of conduct yourself, and you're not showboating, you're not walking around with ILS. I think that does have a positive knock-on effect to people. I think that gets rid of a few egos as well.
There's like, this is what I can never get my head around. I know it happens, but like you go to a pure gym, wherever, and someone can pick up a set of weights up and they can't put them back in the same place that they got them from. But you go to this independent gym, I've never seen the dumbbell rack out of. It's always pristine. Everyone just puts their
Yeah,
stuff
Do you
back.
respect.
They have a bit of
more,
respect.
there's
Yeah.
more pride attached to it
Yeah,
though, because it is a little
yeah,
independent
it is
place.
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make me
And I
laugh.
think because if it is, like, like, there's a couple of gym owners and they see you do that and they'll be like, mate, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, because they can just revoke your thing there and like.
It's
more power
funny
to
because
you,
there's signs
you know?
all around the commercial gym saying you must, if you're seen to not put your weights away, you'll be banned and all this. And it's like nothing, obviously
No.
nothing happened.
Well, that's part of it. There's no consequences, so no one's bothered.
Yeah, it's such a big gym. Like, if two
Yeah.
people
Well,
delete their
rely-
membership, they're not losing anything.
They rely on numbers, don't they? Those kind of gyms.
Yeah.
They've got that lower barrier to
And
entry,
no
so
one
you
going.
can pay like $14.99 a month or $19.99 a month. Basically they're banking on people just signing up.
2,000 members or something.
2,000 members, even though they've got capacity for 1,000, and they're banking on 1,000 people just not turning up and paying their membership.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your die-hard posers, selfie takers, ab checkers, glute pumpers, bicep posers.
If we do the wiggly leg one, the stomp.
You don't get too many of those. That involves training your lower body. People don't like doing that.
No.
I can honestly say I've never seen anyone pose their legs in front of the mirror. I've seen plenty of bicep poses.
Girls do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they do that turn round
Yeah,
glute one.
Well, that's called a
Yeah.
belfie, isn't it?
Was it?
Belfie.
You have to
Bumpy.
put
Or
that one back.
I know what you mean.
Belfie.
Delphi.
Belfie.
So like a selfie, but for your butt. Belfie.
Yeah.
That's why I said bumpy.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
if you go a
belfie.
decade ago and to suggest, not that I would ever suggest, but to suggest someone had a big bum would be an insult. Now, it's appreciate the badonky. God damn it.
It'll
Praise
change
the
again, though.
badonky. It will.
Like,
And yeah, women do have it
It is back.
impossible.
Heroin chic's back. They do not
What a
hate it.
rough name. What a rough name.
Heroin
for it.
chic.
What a rough name. Yeah,
Is it?
Heroin chic.
apparently. We spoke about a bit about body image on the last one, didn't we?
We did.
But yeah, it does evolve constantly. But for men, men just get more jacked.
you seen the guy on Married at First Sight? What he said?
No.
That's so controversial.
I haven't-
He
I
started a
haven't seen
massive thing. He was like, this is the English one. He said to his
I've
girlfriend...
never heard of the programme, let alone whether there's an English one. I'm Australian.
Oh, right. Well,
Is
we
this-
should
is
watch
this like
it. It's great.
Oh, is this like is it like
Get married at first sight.
Yeah, I think it's
Is
really
it like-
interesting because it's more psychological.
does exactly what it says on the tin, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, they
First
marry.
time.
Producers put them together basically.
Yeah.
That doesn't-
Married.
Surely none
It's,
of them
it's
work
awful.
out.
It's like reality. But
How long do they have to live with each other? Because they do
3
like
months.
about.
Oh,
But you just see how different people merge, and it's really interesting. Some people click so well, and then eventually fizzle off.
oh, really?
Some people really don't click, and they hate each other, and then all it takes is one conversation with someone, and they just see everything differently, and their whole. I find it really interesting. This guy said to his wife, she was kind of saying about going to the gym with one of the other guys in it. And he was like, oh, don't go to the gym too much. Like, you'll be getting horse legs. And she was like, what? So they were at a dinner party. This was 4 of them at a dinner party. And the other ones went, you can't say that. And these are the 2 guys just kind of went like, you can't say that. And he was like, of course I can fucking say that. Like, got my opinions. Just because you're offended by them. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh no, I hate that.
And she was just
down.
like, if I want muscly legs, I'll have muscly legs. And then it got brought up in the big dinner party that they have weekly or whatever, where there's like 13 of them. And yeah, he just got massively attacked, and now it's like a sound on TikTok where it's like,
oh really?
Don't want your horse legs, blah, blah. It's just, yeah, good
that
on
is-
Jonathan.
That is the thing though, isn't it? It's
He's
like,
awful.
whenever you look at female bodies, it's always presented as in, do you like this? Do you find it attractive? Because that's always the angle that men go in from as well. So, oh, I don't find that attractive. And it's like, well, hang on, mate. Who was asking you? who was asking your opinion? She
Women
wants to
do as
do.
well, though.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think women are fairly
Dad
judgmental.
bods, non-dad bods,
Yeah,
like, define a dad bod. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you say to a woman, like, define a dad bod, they'll just be like, a bit chubby.
Supposedly
Yeah.
Jason Momoa, is it Momoa?
Yeah.
Is what they think is the dad bod.
What?
I'm just
Yeah,
like, he,
exactly.
Isn't he Aquaman?
yeah, exactly. Aquaman is the dad bod.
Absolute
That's not-
stallion.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah,
that's not dad bod, that's just ripped.
yeah.
Yes, well, don't know.
Well, men are like pretty scrutinised for their bodies as well. But again, that's something we all feed into because our superheroes and our superhero movies, we want our superheroes to be jacked.
So you did this the other day, or was it? Oh, it was Ella. She was comparing like the superheroes throughout the years. Don't know if you saw it.
Who's this?
Ella, fitness site.
Oh, okay.
She was comparing like
Oh,
when
yes, I did. I
Batman was
messaged
like
her,
a really
yeah.
skinny dude
Yeah.
in lycra, and Batman now has got quad fucking striations, and he's like jacked.
You look at Action Man. Action Man was just a
Oh, the
regular,
toys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
They were just like little thin.
The only
like,
muscular superhero really was Hulk.
yeah,
He-Man.
but he wasn't
He-Man
real,
was
was he?
pretty...
He-Man was pretty jacked.
There's only superheroes. But I,
But he's not a superhero though, is he? He's a
No.
mythical
Yeah.
I
man.
haven't watched Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's always been a
The Hulk.
boy, so... Well,
Yeah, he's a bit weedy.
yeah.
I really liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like, because I was a comic book geek growing up.
Right.
I felt like that was the closest depiction to. Don't look at me.
I mean, like, you were comic book Greek as well, mate.
Did I say Greek? Did I? Did I say Greek? New geek. There
Also
is Greek.
accurate.
I agree.
I'm not Greek. That's so racist.
I love it.
That's so racist. You look a bit foreign, must be Greek.
So easy.
What
No.
about the third... Oh no, so Andrew Garfield, sorry, you said. Because
Yeah,
the
he was
third
second.
film by
He was the
Tobey
second.
Maguire is terrible, right?
It is. I think Marvel. I've decided Marvel movies aren't for me.
Right.
Like they would have been me as a kid, but even the Marvel comics back then they were a little bit darker. But everything's been Disneyfied now. We know
It's
you.
just a headache.
I
What
think,
do you
yeah.
enjoy, film wise? Come on, you've slagged off Star Wars, you've slagged off Lord of the Rings, you've slagged off all the superhero movies.
Why are you laughing?
What do you enjoy?
Everyone knows I don't watch films.
Oh, none at all.
I do. No, I enjoy films, but I can't.
Married
I
at
don't have
First Sight.
attention span, so I can't sit and watch one. I like psychological rom-com. Yeah.
That's right, this isn't a test. It's just
No.
Films that make you think.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I do think on the same way though, because I'm definitely not a fan of any of the Marvel stuff
I
either.
know, it's
Like,
just like,
just
get
doesn't
out.
get-
It's
doesn't
so
get it.
boring. Another car flies through a window. Oh my god! Like, I don't care. It doesn't. I like leaving the cinema, even though I don't like the cinema because I can't sit and watch film. But I like leaving the cinema with like that sticks with
happy
me.
ending.
Not like a happy ending, no, but something that sticks with me. And then
What was
For
that
next
film you
week I'll
said
be
that
back.
you saw that's really good?
About Time.
I haven't seen it, but sounds
About
good.
time.
Watch it. Watch it, because it's stuck with me for the
Who's
past
he
few
got in
weeks.
it?
Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yes.
The ginger guy. It's been a long while since I've seen Black Mirror, but the ginger guy who comes out the bath.
So Black
There's a
Mirror.
few episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Amy,
say.
is it Amy McAdams?
The
woman,
Yeah.
Amy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, her second name's McAdams. I think it's Amy McAdams. She's in The Notebook.
Yeah, I think
That's
I've seen
Amy
it. I think
Adams.
I've seen it.
McAdams.
No, just Adam.
And this
Oh,
is
it's
Amy
Amy
Adams.
Adams.
well, this is out on the
I
cinema
think it's
now.
Amy Adams.
It's McAdams.
Was it
I think it's
McAdams?
a
Okay.
series,
that's-
isn't it?
You
It's a
said it's
series,
the
I
girl
think.
from Notebook.
Yeah,
Ah.
what's her name? It's something
I don't know.
McAdams. Rachel. Sorry, Rachel
Rachel
McAdams.
McAdams.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Aye, that's the one.
Yeah, it's got her in it and another guy in it and another guy in it.
That's
There you
so
go.
painful.
No, it's
No,
about
I will-
time
I'll-
travel.
Sounds good.
And
Okay.
it's one of those that makes you see life differently, which I really like because to have that kind of
I
power
can't
as a
actually remember
director.
the last time I went to the cinema. I can't remember what I last saw in the cinema.
Do you do classy cinema now?
Classy cinema?
As in
Well, luxury.
luxury cinema?
No, my
Yeah.
luxury cinema is actually getting it on my TV so I can pause it and take a wee in between.
Oh, right, yeah.
Uh,
That is
Yeah,
luxury
it's such a
cinema.
waste of money. Unless you go to Canby and buy a £4 ticket. That's not wasting money, is it?
I was thinking,
Basildon's like
what's
£12
the
ticket.
Everyman? Is it Everyman? No. What's
Yeah.
the one in Chelmsford? Is that an Everyman?
Yeah.
Where you
I
get
saw
sofas?
Aquaman. I saw Aquaman there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you can get burgers and beer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like you spend like 60 quid or something
Yeah.
like per person, but it's that's an exaggeration.
I
But
quite enjoyed just watching the film. at home.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can tell it
But
off.
you can rent most things on your
Disney
TV.
Plus the films come out
Yeah.
so soon, you're just like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got halfway
Black
through
Ariel.
James Bond, the new
On my
one.
TV.
What's it called?
They make them too complex.
So long.
I watched
sat in
James
the cinema
Bond
for
just to
3
see
hours.
stuff blow up.
that was the last one I went to
Cars
go
Through
see. actually,
Windows.
James Bond.
Yeah,
Cars Through
I think me
Windows.
too. I think that was the last one. I
That's
know
why
I saw
Eddie hates
Jurassic
it.
Park. I love Jurassic Park, but even that was just
Fun.
too
Yeah.
actiony, and annoying.
Can you watch a film twice?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Multiple
can't.
times.
The only film I've ever
I know what
watched
happens.
multiple twice is Pulp Fiction because it's my favourite film. I cannot
That's a
watch
brilliant film.
any
That is a
film
really good
because
film.
my wife is like,
Have you seen Memento?
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
watch that twice and then
No,
backwards?
Just wipe it.
Watch it backwards.
because she's like, "What? I want to watch this thing." I said, "You've seen it?" I'm like, "Well, I don't want to watch it if you've seen it because I want to watch something new that we both haven't seen." Oh, I don't mind. I'm like, "No, I mind that you've seen it."
Oh.
So, and I'm like, she's like,
I get that. Yeah,
You don't
I
want
watching-
it, you
yeah.
don't want them you to spoil it or
No, it's just like
It's
I don't
about
know.
that
I don't
shared
experience it
experience,
with you
isn't
if you've
it?
already
Yeah.
seen it. They're like, I don't
Right.
mind. I'm like, well, I do. So
Yeah, you
I'm
want
like,
it to be a
"No."
new
because at least that
experience.
way you can go I reckon she's and then yeah.
Unless it's Pulp Fiction, where I can be like, oh, I
No,
love this bit.
There's a good few films I've probably seen about 20 times.
I've sobbed at
Pulp-
the Notebook
Pulp
at
Fiction's-
least 15 times. At least.
No,
I've never
watched
seen
it.
it.
All the time.
But
I love it.
see, for me, I can't. If I know a film is going to make me feel sad, I'm like, why would I watch that?
I give it, it's like.
Because I
love
can't
it.
remember. Rosa suggested to me. It was. She was describing the. I can't remember the name of the film, but she was describing it to me. She was like, "Oh yeah, it's about two sisters. One of them has cancer, and one of them dies." I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And then someone else said to me, "Have you watched Marley and Me?" Yeah, the dog dies.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
I don't
no,
want to
fuck
watch
film.
that. I love my
hate that
dog.
film.
I don't want to watch that.
What a horrible
Why do I
film.
want to upset myself?
Don't bring pets into it.
Yeah.
Don't bring
Yeah.
pets into it.
Well, that sounds good. I'll watch that.
Don't bring pets into your issues.
I cried. Oh my god! I remember watching a film about huskies, and then
Snow dogs.
Snow Dogs. That is it. I watched Snow Dogs.
Cuba
You
Gooding
know.
Jr.
Yeah, him. He's great. I loved him. But I
It's
was
supposed
like,
to be like a rom-com, isn't it?
something like that. I was literally like 8, and
Oh,
my
right.
dad. We were watching it at lunchtime. It's literally a lunchtime film. Watched it after eating our paninis. And I just didn't stop sobbing the whole day till I went to bed. And my dad was like, "This is enough." But like, a few huskies got buried in the snow and died. Like, it's not a
Oh,
big
do
deal.
they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they get
yeah.
lost and buried in the snow.
But then
They die.
surely they appear at the end, bounding over the snow.
I think in
Or maybe
heaven
you
or
didn't
something
make
like
it that far.
No.
No, we
You
did
might
watch
have
it to
gone-
the end, but I was sobbing the whole way and I did not stop for ages.
Oh, that sounds like
So
poppy.
a pet movie had that effect on me. A Dog's Purpose.
Oh, no,
I haven't seen that.
It's. Can I ruin it?
I don't
Yeah.
know, probably
If
not
you,
going to watch it. mate,
if you
to
haven't
be
watched
honest.
it, it's basically about like one singular dog personality that's reincarnated every time. So you watch this same dog personality die multiple times. It's horrific. It upset me for days. I hated it. So don't watch
I
that
can't
one.
watch the Black Mirrors going back to that because of the same thing. It affects me, and I'm just like, oh, that's awful. And then I live through like, imagine if it was like that for ages.
I don't know whether you've seen the Nosedive episode of Black Mirror.
Nosedive, yeah.
We're there.
What one? Remind me, what one is
The social media one.
the social media one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
Messed
seen
up.
that.
Where you
You
basically
need
give
to watch
everyone.
Black Mirror. You really
Oh.
You don't have to watch them in any order.
And you vote them in public,
Yeah.
and just go, no, I don't
Yeah, we
like
are
you.
there.
Don't
So, like,
vote them.
You've got people bringing you smoothies and coffees to try and get points.
The one
Yeah,
where
so you can buy a
yeah.
house
Okay, I have
based
seen
on your
that one,
social status.
Yeah.
I think it's called
Is that
White
season
Bear.
2? Maybe.
Season 3, episode 1. I don't know how
Is
I
it more
remember
than I
that.
thought?
I think it's White Bear, and it's on the telly, and then she goes outside and everyone's out to kill her or something like that.
There's quite a few of them that are quite close to home. You're like,
That one I
we're,
really can't watch.
we're not
Really
far
messed me
from
up.
that.
Yeah.
We're not far from that.
The one where the
So you have
the guy cycles and then gives his points away, and the girl just like forgets him or whatever. That one was like, you bastard. Yeah, that was like one of the early ones, I think. Maybe the first.
I skipped the whole season 1. It was
The one
because
with
there was
the
the whole
Prime Minister.
Prime
Pig
Minister and Pig
Yeah,
one. I was
yeah,
like, I'm not watching that. Just skip it. Something else.
Yeah, it was. I think it was loosely based
Was
on
it?
that at the time.
Yeah. No.
But,
Yeah, actually, she always says to me, you need to watch Black Mirror, and I never got around to it.
The
Sure.
good thing about it is you can pick it up at any point because they don't run in any order. Like
Yeah.
every episode is a standalone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
every
kind of just get to
episode,
pick
yeah.
one.
So whether you start on season 3 or season 1, pick up 2 episodes in, it really doesn't matter. But quite a few famous people have done them, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like real.
Miley Cyrus did one.
Yeah. That was quite creepy. Her one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hers was like people watching her all the time, and her life was completely controlled.
Yeah, I'm always conscious. I don't want to ruin this for people, but watch Black Mirror.
Watch Black Mirror,
Watch
yeah.
Black Mirror. It's freaky.
It's so worth it. I think I might rewatch them soon. And then there's the one where you can. It's like one of them books, you know, the Club Penguin books, where you can choose which way you go with the book. There's a Black Mirror episode like that, and you
Yeah.
get control. So on your
That's right.
remote, you kind of say like what way you want to go with it. So you can watch
Was
it a
that-
few times. It's all different.
Did that have the guy from
Will Porter.
Narnia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
eyebrows.
that's what- the eyebrows.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's a really good
He's
actor.
in-
Not in
Amazing.
Narnia, he's not.
Did you ever watch? He was on.
He was a kid,
He was on
but-
something called School of Comedy. Did you ever
Right.
watch that?
No, no.
It was an E4, and he must have been 10 to 12 at the time. It was actually quite funny, and look, he's obviously much older now, and he's quite a good actor. But we've got some pretty amazing British actors, I think.
But he does look too much like the
kid
kid
from Toy
from Toy Story.
That was his Halloween costume, wasn't it? Have you seen that?
Sid, isn't it?
Yeah.
But braces on. No,
Yeah.
he just looks like him anyway. Nuts.
That's what I think. That's what made that so brilliant.
Yeah, he's
Lean
a Maze
into
Runner
it.
as well. Like a Maze Runner.
That's right. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the new Netflix? Damn, I can hear myself. Have you guys heard of the new Netflix show? You can watch it in like any order, and it affects how you view the story.
I have heard
You
of
heard of
this.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
it's
watch.
really
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, depending on where you
Yeah.
pick up the
Yeah,
series.
you can just like pick any episode, and I'm guessing you watch it in the order you want, and it affects
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're
That
going
would
to
wig
do
me
that.
right out.
So is it, they do that with true crime drama stuff, isn't it? Where they show you like certain people's point of views, and then you're like, oh, he did it, and then you watch the next one, and you're like, oh, he didn't do it. Like, and then it's like, oh, he definitely did it. No, she did it. And then like you go through the episode. So I assume it's a bit like.
I hate the
that
ones
in a
where you
way,
get
but-
to the end and there's no way you would have known who'd done the crime the whole time because the person just popped up weirdly at the end.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's like someone down the
Cop
street
out.
that you haven't
Yeah,
encountered
yeah,
at all
like,
through the
oh,
whole series.
what a waste of my
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's the other flip reverse where it's obvious from the first episode. They've been on the screen 5 minutes, you're like, it's them. We get to the end of the series. Bloody them, I told you.
Yeah, it's like always the first person you see or someone that you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
So insane. I just don't watch it.
Unsolved Mysteries. Have you seen that? That's a series on Netflix.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but obviously the title, you don't actually find out what happens. They're true life stories of something that happened.
That would drive me nuts.
But then, because
I'd
exactly,
hate that.
I'm
I'd
like,
be on the internet.
why don't so a new series is
solve
on?
it
I'm
yourself.
like, yeah, but and then they do weird ones with like, it's always in America, really weird ones with like UFOs, and like UFOs come over and everyone's like believing it. I'm like, it's not real. There's not UFOs. They don't exist. But then you never find out what actually happened.
Hang on. Do you actually believe that?
What UFOs?
Do you believe in this massive universe and other planets?
Yeah, no.
That there might possibly
No.
not be any other life.
No UFOs,
elsewhere?
no ghosts.
I'm not saying UFOs necessarily, but I'm
No
just
ghosts.
saying there's no life.
No chance.
There's no other life in this universe.
How can there be? Maybe there's life, but there's not little aliens with big eyes.
Well,
And
no,
there's-
not necessarily, but there is definitely life. There's got
There's
to be.
life. There's life, but there's no little in spaceships. It's just not. It's just whatever, people weird imaginations.
In years to come, you're going to be that bigger alienist.
But like in 100
You know that,
years,
don't you?
yeah, in 100 years we might be on Mars. So if you think of it like, so if
That's
we'd have,
disgusting, isn't it?
if we'd have been like evolved 1,000 years earlier, then we might be further than Mars. So like planets that have evolved like thousands of years earlier might be able to travel. You
Not
never
according
know.
to Stan.
I just thought of that.
Not according to
Yeah.
them.
Maybe.
It's only 1,000 years
But
in like millions and millions. And
Not the
millions.
way that people portray like these things that like fly over and zap people up and that. I just don't think.
Well, you haven't been zapped.
I've seen one.
By the right.
Oh, funny you should say.
I worked with someone from Scotland who used to do a lot of drugs. He used to be in a rock band.
This is a great start to this story.
This is why like he's like, I've been fucking abducted. And he's just like,
Yeah, so have I.
sure you have. And he's just like, I'll tell you that. And he talks it, and he goes through, and like the story never changes. And he's like, they're from this planet. They took me to this planet. They're at war with this planet. They've asked me for
No, I'm on
help.
his side. I believe him.
Yeah,
Oh
It's
my
nuts.
no!
I believed it.
Oh, like
Jez, if
anything's
you're out
possible.
there.
We're literally just weird little
No.
things on the planet. Do you know what I mean? We're not the only ones.
I've had some great experiences, but never been abducted by
What about
aliens.
weird stuff in this planet?
There's plenty.
Everyone's grilling you now because
What, like
'cause you don't
ghosts?
believe-
or
No,
something?
like so you don't believe in ghosts, but what about like deep sea monsters and things?
I
like
know.
that?
I think there's more we don't know about the sea than the outer space.
It's a massive
So big out
universe.
there.
The sea
Massive.
scares me a little bit. Like, you know, when you go on holiday and it's like nice and shallow, and then you get the reef and it just drops into like this black. You're like,
Yeah.
no, not for me.
I like that. I'm the one trying to swim to the bottom and then
Well,
I can't breathe.
those creatures that have evolved to be in the pitch black.
Yeah, like weird things.
Anglerfish,
Anglerfish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was
So,
thinking
but there's
about.
probably things deeper in there.
Why did we do that?
You
Anglerfish.
did it at the same time. You did.
No, there's definitely other stuff that's underneath that because we haven't got to that far.
Yeah.
There's probably weird things down there.
Mermaids?
Maybe there's mermaids.
Mermaids are
but-
real.
What kind of
But like
Mermaids
lu-
are
these
real.
like the translucent mermaids that live there because they need that's how they're jellyfish but mermaids.
Oh,
I love the narrative
That's why
around
we haven't been
mermaids. and,
seen.
Like, the mermaid's only purpose is to draw men into the sea. Like they've got nothing better to do,
Yeah.
just to draw men into the sea and drown them.
I used to wish I was a mermaid, and once I got in the bath, everyone used to seen H2O. I forced you to watch it. But
My daughter
she
loves
watch it?
it.
She
She
watching it?
loves
Yes,
it.
it's carrying on.
The Australian version.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she watches them
I
over
used
and
to
over
be
and over again.
obsessed with that program, like obsessed.
Don't get them wet because their tail just
Exactly,
appears.
and I used to get in the bath fully clothed,
So it's Splash the series.
expecting to turn into
Yeah.
Splash the series.
And my mum walked in the bath, and I was in the dark because they get in this rock pool in the dark, don't they?
Moon pool.
So the moon pool.
Yeah, I know the moon
So
pool.
I got in the bath in the dark, fully clothed, and I was just having a fun time. I forgot about it.
Fully
Like, it's
clothed.
That
Oh,
must have
that's
been
mental.
really concerning for a parent walking into you in a pitch black
Probably,
bath.
Just thinking you tried to drown yourself.
Yeah, I'm just thinking,
Don't do it.
what would I do if I walked
She's
into the
like,
bathroom? My
She
daughter's
did
in
go
a pitch
mental.
black.
Fully clothed.
Yeah. I was in my pajamas, I think.
I mean, I've seen drunk people get into bath fully clothed.
Yeah,
Many
without
times.
water in.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was at uni and leaving chips to burn in the oven, just happily burning down
That
the
irritates
house.
me. Just cook
I,
food properly.
Hey, this was probably the first or second year we went to Ibiza, and I came back to the hotel room, and Tom.
If you've been to Ibiza, you've definitely visited other planets.
Well, Tommy McFarlane at the time, like he was. I go into the bathroom, and he's in the bath with foam bubbles everywhere, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I mean, he's like, "I'm at foam parties going on here." Like he'd left like 2 hours ago on his own. No one knew where he was. Got back in the room, and he's just like on his face, like I'm having a great time, like fully clothed in this foam party. He was in the bath in the hotel room. Brilliant.
That is
dear.
Great.
I nearly, and I'm not exaggerating by saying this, I nearly drowned at my first foam party.
They're horrible things.
Iron Appa, when I
Right.
was 18,
You can't breathe it in, can you?
I thought it'd be an amazing idea to stand directly under the pumps So when that, obviously it's not regulated, it was in Cyprus. When that came down, I thought I was dead. I actually felt like I was a goner. I wasn't even that drunk at the
It's not
time.
funny.
I was like, this is it.
Just
It's gone. This is how I go. This is the story they tell people. He died at a phone party.
Do they? Because I don't know if it's the same, but in Esparadis, that was the big phone party place in Ibiza, and the middle bit was like step down, and that would fill up with water and stuff, and then it's like the water was just horrendous. You'd look at it and be like,
because
oh
it's
my
set
god,
on the water
Yeah.
underneath.
and then there'd be like water with stuff floating in it. You'd be like, oh my god. And then
But it's not just like the intense whoosh of it, which is more or less water. There's like very little bubbles in it. But you've got elbows, arms, fingers flying over the place.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks they're drowning.
Bodily
Because everyone
fluid.
else thinks it's a great idea to stand there as well.
Horrible,
Everyone
like,
immediately
experience,
regrets it.
man. And then once you've seen it once and you go back again and everyone's like, oh, phone party coming in, I'm like, see you later.
That's the one and only. That's the one and only phone party I've ever been to.
Right.
Oh no, been to one.
I done
Right now.
Don't go to
No,
one.
don't. Not all that.
BCM phone party in Magaluf.
BCM's a massive club, wasn't it? Like, huge place.
Yeah, that was all. That was okay. I remember it was. Yeah, maybe I didn't stand in a danger zone. But I remember like walking into a thing and breathing at the same time, and you just like I'm dead because it's you
I can
can't breathe it
imagine
in.
it.
Takes all your senses away, doesn't it? 'Cause
Been
you
to a
can't-
silent disco?
Yeah, yeah.
Best.
I've never
Best.
been to
That's
one.
more
Yeah.
relaxing than a
Yeah. And what would
They're
you listen to
amazing.
in a silent disco?
Pardon?
What would you listen to in a silent disco out of choice?
Well, they always put different channels on, don't they? The first one I went to, one channel was like classic indie rock, like
Yeah.
bangers, and then one of the other channels was they did house, and then there was
Because I did, before we recorded this, I did challenge you all to find a song with
Oh, yeah.
questionable lyrics as an opening line,
Yeah.
or something that you used to sing along to.
yeah, I have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on, you can go first, Ellie. Go on. You go first.
No, I don't want to go first.
You don't want to go first.
Oh, I probably should. My phone's going to die.
Go on.
I've already got it up. How do you want me to do
She
it?
said,
Just
"Can I
play.
have the
Which one do you want?
white one."
You'll have to.
Go on, or you.
It's
What
not just the
lyrics you
start
want?
lyric. It's like the start paragraph.
Okay, start verse. So we've
Well,
got to listen.
it is.
You're saying
it's
we've
all
got to
just
listen
rock.
to the whole song, basically.
No, it's like it's literally that. Oh no.
So have you actually got the lyrics up, so you've got to read them yourself, or are you going to play the song?
Well, it's like up to there. I can.
I mean, if you want to read the lyrics yourself, it's up to you. I don't know what the lyrics consist of.
Read the lyrics.
I won't be reading the lyrics on my one. I won't be reading the lyrics on
Read
my
the
one.
lyrics and then
I think it's just.
we'll figure out if we know the song. That could be a. Will we? Will we know it from you reading the lyrics?
I don't know how it's gonna go.
Do the
Like,
beat
if
in the
I-
background. No, I don't recognise the song. I think you should tell us the lyrics.
Okay. Give me just... Right. Okay. I'm reading this bit on my screen, and I'm gonna
Okay.
curl into a ball after the end. My mind is. I can't do it. My mind is telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. One wrong. Just wrong. Baby, I don't want to hurt nobody, but there's something that I must confess to you. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. What the fuck?
I mean, I wasn't expecting you to actually read them out.
Well, I'm
but
reading them out.
carry on.
With a little. They repeats that bit. I don't see nothing wrong. Yeah, that's it. No, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. So it's like,
That's-
I shouldn't do this, but I want
Yeah.
to, so I'm going to.
So
It's just-
Ellie just coming in there with the convicted paedophile lyrics.
Yeah.
But there's absolutely that was a big track, wasn't it?
That was a massive track.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
actually.
bad.
That didn't even enter my brain as in because that it's a bad intro.
That didn't. That one in particular didn't, because I think I've just had to erase R. Kelly out of my memory.
Yeah.
Frowned upon listening to his music in public.
It
I
is.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're judged as a person, definitely.
Though
So
his whole From a Closet series makes
that is weird.
it's weird anyway.
Really
it's like a was it ghetto? What did you call it? A ghetto sitcom?
Why don't you read out the lyrics?
I'm reenacting the whole thing. Just sorry.
Well, he does do it as a solo anyway. Who's going to go? Do you want to go next?
Yeah, you ready for
Go
mine?
for it.
I don't know.
Do you want me to read it or? I'm gonna
Whatever
play it?
you want to do. I'm definitely not reading mine.
I can't read.
Sorry. I know it's just that Drop of the head thing. The
It works
regret.
better when it's played, but if I read it, it will sound really weird as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So if I play mine, you're just going to sing along to the song. But if you read it out, you actually understand how bad it is.
If I read mine, I will be cancelled
Do you want me to read it?
instantly.
I'll read
So I won't do it.
Yeah. It's all distorted. It's awkward. I stab an orphan with an orchid. Pork sword it. Then I feed it to a swordfish. Awesome shit. Shaving a pasty. Sorry. I'm raping David Blaine with an ashtray. He's like, please stop it. He's Wallace and she's Gromit. Banging on the moon. Strangle a baboon. Kicking him in a fanny, then bang it with a broom. I'm lesbian prison. Dying on my own. Crying on the throne. Violent with a bone. Pull the bone off. Snap it in half. I'm just having a laugh. That's the first bit.
I don't know what song that is.
It's better when you hear it. Not,
Street.
no, this is like this artist called Dirty Dyke, and he is like almost like he's really good at rapping, but
I've heard of.
yeah, that's he's off that Verb Tease, mate, one of them people.
Right.
But when you hear it playing, it's completely different because
I know who you're about. Follow him on Spotify. I listen.
yeah, that's him.
I know that one. I know that
Hi, I'm
one.
James.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm James.
Yeah, he's
I
really
love him.
funny.
Yeah, he's so good.
This first bit is the best bit. This bit,
What song's that?
the posse, future posse. This
Oh, okay.
this bit.
Yeah. That sounds good.
And that's 500 quid.
Shit, son.
Basically, guaranteed no-brainer.
We can just spend that on strawberry daiquiris and mopeds.
Booze money.
He's brilliant.
I'm ready.
I like Hi, I'm James.
We've got to get some motorbikes.
The last time I was in a moped was
That is so chaotic. Oh, this is the actual verse now.
It's all distorted and it's awkward. I stab an orphan with an orchid.
That is so
I
weird.
do it, yeah.
Feed it to a swordfish. Awesome shit. Shaving the pasty.
Sounds like Gets.
I'm raping David Blaine with an ashtray. He's like, please stop it. He's Wallace, she's Gromit, banging on the moon. Strangle a baboon. Kick him in the fanny, then I bang it with a broom. I'm a lesbian.
But it's the subtle piano music in the background. It's not like a heavy beat in the background to go with the aggressive.
Everyone sat down for a nice meal.
Yeah.
And then
This is like restaurant music. That is.
yeah.
Well, that
What's your one?
yeah, sorry.
No.
No, that was a good one. Yeah.
Good recommendation. Right, so I stuck with the first thing that came into my head, and it is the only intro that was just a bit random, and I could. Hang on, let me get it up. So I used to. It's just one of those ones that's in my head, and I'll do the impression first because that's what.
Do you want to do? That is
And it brings
fine.
me back. These guys won't know it because you're 2000s, but you know the song that started with. Oh yeah, I used to know Quinnen.
Yeah.
He was a real.
Yeah.
He was a real.
what flat Eric?
Flat Eric, flat beat.
That's not controversial, is it?
No, it's not controversial, but that is the first thing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're just going with what we fancy.
Just whatever.
Screw the criteria. Yeah.
How did you?
Oh,
Collector's
that
item
was
style.
Flat Eric the Yellow thing.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That is so strange. It must
yeah,
come
is
up
it?
again. That came up last week.
This is a banger, to be fair.
Oh my god, this is so weird.
That's it. That's just what popped in my. I was like, "There's no reason
I mean,
for that."
like, kudos, great track. Rubbish in terms of the criteria.
Yeah, it's not. It's not controversial or anything, but it just sticks in my head.
I
Flat
mean,
Eric came up the other day, and this is something I went to.
Is he back?
And he was here. Look, he pops up. Watch.
no one else is going to be able to see this if you're listening to the podcast, by the way.
I'll show it. I'll put it on.
You'll put it on the.
Look, there he is. And I filmed that bit. Wait.
Yes.
And he comes up again. Hold on.
Right, so for the sake of people that can't see what Ellie's showing us,
Brilliant.
it's a random video and
Oh,
Flat
come on.
Eric
Where is he?
just pops up occasionally.
There he is. And I was like, what is that? And the guy was like, you don't know what Flat Eric is? And I was like, no. And you educated me on it. And
Yeah.
it's come
That's
up
how
again.
you discovered Flat Eric?
Yeah.
Love that.
Ah.
Yes.
In real life, just met
Yeah.
him. It's the best way to make friends with celebrities, not realise that they're celebrities.
Absolute institution.
Well, I mean, like this, I feel like this is the disappointing one, to be quite honest, because she manages to do it in like the first few words.
You're not going to read it out?
No, I'm not reading this out.
My pussy tastes like Pepsi Cola.
Yeah.
That's good. Is that Below Your Face or is it Sia?
That is Lana Del Rey with Cola.
Lana Del Rey. That one.
That's good.
Right.
That's a good one.
You were
And,
saying about WAP, weren't you, earlier?
I mean,
That's the first one that came to my head, but I don't know how it starts.
that is why I did not read that one.
Right.
You should have read that one, actually.
Has a bit of a weird impact. As like, well, I think anyone reading it out loud is a bit weird, right? Apart from Lana Del Rey, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed that-
Who ran with it?
You annoyed you didn't get that one.
Yeah. It's on the
Chose
tip of my tongue.
chose all of the female artists apart from Lana
Yeah.
Del Rey.
Save that for friends. Look what I've got for you. Listen to this.
Yeah, they probably already know it, to be honest. They probably play it on the daily.
Avid Lana Del Rey listeners.
Yeah.
And I think we'll probably wrap that up there.
Cool.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe, leave a positive review, obviously not a negative review, and we will hopefully catch you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.